Hello, everybody, and welcome back to second part of Money May Get You in the Door, may get them in the door, but it's your leadership skills that will keep them. And so I'm excited to talk about part two because we're going to talk about a couple of subjects that I really enjoy, that I really love to talk about as part of process communication and helping build strong leadership skills. So I want you to think about the past 6 months, even the past year, and how has the turnover in your company been? And as people are leaving, are they saying they're leaving because of more money? The reality is the underlying message is that, yes, there may be money over here, and it may seem like the grass is greener on the other side. But if you as a leader really support them, provide them motivation and engaging work, and they feel like they are contributing and appreciated, there is a higher likelihood that they will stay with you and that you will be able to reduce your turnover. So in this topic, we're going to take a few moments and we're going to take 3 additional things that as a leader you can do to improve your skills, to build your strength, and really engage with your team. So the first one, and we hear this starting to come up more and more and more, is something known as psychological safety. And psychological safety has to start with the leaders. It has to start with the leadership team. And what is psychological safety? It really means that we have a space in our workplace where people feel comfortable speaking up, having positive conflict. Yes, we can have disagreement without the fear of negative consequences in their career or their future with the company. And so one of the smallest ways that a leader can do this and start to build psychological safety is share your failures first. Be the first to open the door and share your failures. The other thing that you want to do is invite your team in to tell you what it is that they are seeing and what it is that they need, and give them that space to be able to share things with you that you may not want to hear. And once you do that, the more you can do that, the more you can create this environment. And it does take time. It doesn't happen because you did it once. You have to do it over and over and over again, and pay attention to your emotions, pay attention to what as a leader comes up from you when you receive negative feedback or feedback that doesn't align with you, to think about what is it that is positive in this? How can I support the employee in being able to be more open and provide ideas? Because it's through the growth of ideas that new things happen, that things beyond what we're used to seeing allow us to achieve more. So that's your first thing, is start to work on psychological safety, start to build that into your workplace as a leader. The next thing is environment. So we hear a lot about hybrid work. We hear a lot about people being able to work from home and having these choices. Unfortunately, not all of us work in an office setting where we can work at home. You can't have the chef take the night off and say, I'm going to do all the kitchen prep from my home, right? So you need to be aware that environment matters. And depending on your company, depending on the work that you do, right, it's creating space during the day or during their shift to allow them to re-energize. And so in the process communication model, we talk about different environments that people work best in. And so some of your team members need an environment for a portion of the day where they can interact with others, where they can connect, where they can share, they're excited and they're happy. And I'll tell you, that's like 25% of your staff. Other members of your staff are into this quiet, they really need solitude so that they can and I apologize if you can hear my dogs barking, they need solitude in the ability for them to relax, to be able to regenerate. So those people love this concept of working at home and being in that home perspective. Others really like one-on-one conversations. So creating environments in your workspace where people can go recharge, where people can rebuild based on their psychological needs is something that's really valuable as a leader, and giving them that opportunity to work in a great space. And the last thing I'm going to say, and if anybody's ever heard me talk about what I call my MECA formula, the A in that formula is appreciate. And what you appreciate appreciates. And so what does it mean to appreciate? It means to actually increase in value. It means to recognize people for the value that they bring. Now, we all actually have different ways of being appreciated. And when we think about this concept of money gets you in the door, but it's leadership that keeps you, is money is one of the weakest forms of appreciation. Yes, giving a bonus out is really important. When people do good work, it is also really important that you pay them a fair salary. But appreciation is really about starting to recognize how people appreciate each other. And one of the things in the process communication model that I discovered is that there are 8 different forms of appreciation, and different people like that recognition in a different way. So as a leader, it is your job to pay attention, to think about and interact with your team and say, what is it that you like to appreciate? How do you want to be treated? How do you want me to show you signs of appreciation? And put a lot of effort into that in your day. Make it a habit that you start to do. It is very easy for us to get into the negative shaming and complaining. And I want you to consider making appreciation a habit. Make it something that is a leadership driver, because as you start to appreciate people more in their areas of strength, they can start to use that in some of the areas where maybe they're underperforming, or maybe they're doing a little weaker, and start to build that up. And when people feel appreciated, they are less likely to go look for a job. Even if a headhunter calls, they feel valued by the company. And that a sign of appreciation, that sign of value is worth gold. So appreciate your staff more and take that time with them. So I have one request for you. If you thought that this was helpful, these 3 tips were helpful, then I encourage you to share this with other leaders within your organization, other leaders or management at different facilities. Because as leaders, our job is to create winning teams, one conversation at a time, and that is by connecting with your team. So I appreciate you. I am grateful that you're here, and thank you very much. Have a great day. My name is Nancy Michelli. I help leaders transform difficult employees into positive, motivated working employees so that you can create winning teams in your organization.